a lot of scientific insight is like not true. So when you try to do like a preclinical study, like think about how many labs there are. One idiot says like, oh wow, this protein is implicated in this or that, and it doesn't really mean that it is. Anybody can claim anything. Like he's trying to claim here, these guys.
And more, also differentiation and proliferation of T cells, as we will see.
So he's talking about in J Immunol, there's a paper that says filament A is required for T cells. It is, because without filament A, you need to bind the cytoskeleton. So there's nothing that cemiphelam would do to affect the immune system. Filament A just serves as an anchor. So like if you think about what T cells do, they traffic. Okay, here's filament A, here's actin. And you kind of need to form this like structure, these sort of filaments, not filaments, but like anchors and girders to like structure the cell. Otherwise it's just too goopy. You need to have some structure. This makes sense, like scaffolding. And there's a protein called dystrophin that does this too. So there's whole like 10, 20 proteins that like work together. So filament, actin, there's one called titinin. They all work together to sort of make the cytoskeleton stronger. T cells have to move a lot. And when you're talking about cellular movement, the cytoskeleton really needs to be strong. And that's why for dystrophin, it affects the muscle cells, because those are cells that move quite a bit. So T cells traffic, of course, without filament, they wouldn't work as well. But that doesn't mean that cemiphelam has anything to do with this. Cemiphelam basically binds to an irrelevant part of the T cell, like a dot, compared to the filament protein. You can zoom in, like, okay, this dot is doing something to the filament, and it really isn't. In fact, I'm not even sure it binds, and if anything, it would actually interfere with filament's ability to do its job.
Our results therefore reveal a role of filament A in intricate force transmission.
This is a guy who like reads these scientific papers and completely misunderstands them. He's like, see, I was right. Where do they find these people? So you're telling me this is a cure? No, that's not what I'm telling you at all. But I read your paper and it says that you think it's a cure. No. Yeah, so this is the account I've been trying to fill up for the last, like almost feels like a month, but it's taking forever and ever and ever. And the way Interactive works is they have this like weird number where you get portfolio margin, and it's like 115,000 or something like that. So I'm just adding more money until I get the portfolio margin, and then I can kind of go to town. This isn't my only account, but this account is just for like trading on the stream. And I also have a Binance account to trade on. So the Binance account is pretty cool too, because crypto is kind of fun to trade. This account doesn't really like work that great, basically. I don't know what it is about. Maybe it's a short margin requirement or something. It's like really, no, crypto obeys market, more or less obeys market. I think Elon has minor influence. It definitely helps Trump's cause for sure. The thing about investing is you can't blame anybody else when you invest. You only have yourself to blame. And this guy, all he does is blame shorts and other boogeymen. Mossad, he blamed Mossad. I've seen some real short attacks. Yeah, I just don't see how, this is like somebody else's fault. You're the one pressing buy and sell. A protein called Mossad binds filament A, rendering it useless. All right, so HubSpot is very profitable, growing very fast. But what was the Google HubSpot drama? The FTC won't let them buy any company, doesn't matter what size. Buying companies is racist according to the FTC. What's that, 20%? Oh man, Godel really starting to feel like my old Bloomberg terminal. It's so fast. I just open the SEC filing, do my thing, close it, go to any other website. I'm just styling and profiling. See, if I give out the discount code, it hurts my revenue growth. Okay? Look at this. Look how important these revenue numbers are for HubSpot. You think they just like giving out discount codes? Small difference can make a big percentage change. Give out price increase codes. It's reverse reverse discount.
And it's finally getting its due like 12 years later. But
It's finally getting its due? What? Nobody uses the mankind insulin. He's like, I use it. No, you don't. Yeah, so Afrezza sells $50 million of product. Not a great drug there.
Shkreli, when I was writing about this, I was like, what is this? Why wasn't this thing approved already? When I was writing about it, and it was Martin Shkreli, this hedge fund manager, writes to the FDA saying approving Afrezza is an impossibility at this time. He did it on Christmas Day because he's a psychopath, I guess.
No, because I work hard. I work 24/7.
And it worked. How could this be? The FDA had already agreed upon the format of the study, and it went back to work on December 27th. It actually did what he wanted. It was then approved.
Yes, they did what I wanted. It's Shkreli, baby. I tell the FDA to jump, they say, how high, Mr. Shkreli? Yeah, so they delayed the approval because of me. Mankind had to start over again because of me. So what do you think is going to happen to cassava?
Moved in 2014 anyway, so he was wrong, or at least
They spent $1 billion redoing the studies because they were inadequate. Because I was right. They had to do the studies over again because they fucked them up. Just like cassava's going to have these studies. And it's years before you get approval again. Years.
So I wanted to point that out. So who is this Martin Shkreli guy? Well, he interned for Kramer. We know Kramer has already piped in a couple of times to attack cassava. He was also part of attacking Provenge. He's a part of this cabal of short and distorts.
Oh, you were Dendrion baggy too? You're Dendrion baggy?
And he wasn't one of these fake bankers that everybody is told is a wonderful.
Yeah, he was a great philanthropist. He donated $2.3 billion to his short sellers.
Person that is not. He was a real philanthropist, one of the best inventors of all time, and one of the best philanthropists of all time. And this wonderful man came on Kramer's show to talk about his new invention and his new company. And Kramer just ambushed him and slammed him. And Alfred Mann, the poor old guy, was not ready for it at all. And it was just part of them destroying his company, which now is being shown it was always good, but they did a lot of damage for more than 10 years. And that's where Shkreli comes from, is Kramer.
The point of the Mankind article was that they hadn't proven to that point that the drug worked. The fact that they satisfied the FDA later has nothing to do with the fact that I got the FDA to agree with me that this drug is not approvable at this point because they failed phase 3 trials. Lorcaserin I was against, and guess what happened here? The FDA pulled the drug from the market.
And that was in 2010, and the drug was approved in 2012, and Arena, whose drug it was bought out for 6.6.
The drug was discontinued. The FDA forced the drug off the market, actually. Arena was bought out for another drug.
And then 2011, same thing. This is the guy that he filed the first citizens petition to be used this way in 2011 against 𝗠𝗏𝗃. 𝗠𝗏𝗃 was approved in...
I invented the game. First citizens petition ever to be used this way. That's correct. I invented it. Nobody done it before. Shkreli thought that up. Now others are doing it. They learned from me.
In 2013, he did damage there. And by the way, he is the father of using citizens petitions. He's the one that...
That's a fact. Say it again, dog.
13, he did damage there. And by the way, he is the father of using citizens petitions. He's the one that invented that. He's misusing citizens petitions.
Hey, I'm a citizen, and I'm gonna write the petition. What do you mean misusing? I'm the father of a lot of stuff, dog. A lot you don't know about. I'm gonna skip his hedge fund criticism. Oh, he was a Dendrion baggy too.
Again, these people can do damage though. So I'm convinced they are in the wrong. Shkreli, Kramer, Seeking Alpha, Meg. FDA decision to delay approval of Provenge by Dendrion for use in terminally ill end-line patients.
By the way, Joe, you may not know this, but I was involved in this one too. See, if the FDA advisory committee with an expert oncologist says yes, but if Shkreli says no, the FDA is kind of going to have to say no on that one, right? Like, what are they going to say? Yes? In your Discord, you're as loud as a lion. But in my Discord, you're like a little baby. Shh, don't wake up, baby. See, me, I'm a lion everywhere, right? Because I'm the real deal.
I don't think they ever said, let's make sure this is powered, that if we do see it, we get statistical significance. I don't think that ever crossed their mind.
Well, it's funny, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, because somebody showed it to me, and I was just like, yeah, whatever. It looks like a short, it looks like a 0. But then the shorts, the longs were so aggressive. I was like, yeah, I have more work to do. It's probably a good short. But these guys are so crazy. I was like, all right, I'll do more work. I looked into it, and I'm like, okay, this is the allegations here. The situation at hand is so nuts, I have to get involved. I'm not a software company to run, man. I'm not doing biotech for a living. Yeah, if you're hoping nicotinic is going to save you, that's...
Independent. 𝗕𝗏𝗡𝗢𝗡𝗦 that is the.
That's a tough one. When I make bad investments, and I do, guess whose fault it is? It's mine. I'm never going to tell you that it's somebody else's fault. It may feel better to blame somebody else, but all right, enough cassava nonsense. These people they're hurting themselves. I mean, just diversify. That's my only suggestion to them. You know, you can believe what you want. Just don't have all your eggs in one basket, man. It's the only thing I beg of you. If it's going to go up 50x, which you think it will, you don't really need to have that many eggs in this basket. I'm just going to look at HubSpot because it's one of the major software companies I still haven't really looked into. And as a software guy, former Pharma guy, I'm always going to be the Pharma bro, but that's a different story. Yeah, I just want to make sure that I at least know something about all these companies. HubSpot's growing. I mean, it seems like one of the best managed sort of SaaS growth companies. It's a great M&A candidate, and it's not surprising Google was interested. I thought Google literally made an offer and the stock ripped, and then Google said they weren't going to make the offer or something. I don't know. And does anybody out there use HubSpot? I think we tried to use it. A couple of my colleagues are in the chat. Maybe they can chime in. I don't think it was a fantastic experience for us, but I don't think that's enough to base much. Is it for, I mean, they have 200,000 customers, so I would ignore all class action lawsuit type stuff. Okay, so it's much more a small, medium business thing. Alternative to Salesforce. Oh, there's a time to be wrong, by the way. There's only 10 sample size. 10 samples is not much. Just because a guy got it right 10 times. I can make you a computer program that's right 10 in a row and then wrong in the 11th. It's not hard. You know, basically it's 0.5 to the 10th power. And then you have to do 1 divided by that to see. Oh, it's kind of amazing, actually. 1 out of 1,000 people. I thought it would be like 1 out of 53 million or something. 1 out of 1,000 people will be right about who the president is 10 times in a row. Isn't that interesting? 1 out of 1,000. That's all it takes. There's a lot of thousands of people in the country. Just in the US, 300,000 people will have predicted the last 10 presidential elections. It's not that hard. It's actually harder to stay alive for all of them. You have a 50-50 chance of being right. You actually have better than that, but regardless, 50-50 chance of being right, Dem or Republican. So it's just 0.5 to the 10th power. I really need somebody to go back to my old videos and go through them so I could see the exact recommendations. I'm very bad. I'll give a recommendation and then I won't put it in the sheet. So I have to go back and like get the YouTube link or something. We're long ADMA, so you can take a look at the account. Yeah, it had a ton of momentum until this auditor thing happened. And once they report like a good quarter, the auditor thing will ancient history, I think. I don't know. I can't help you with passive income, dude. What do I look like? You're a financial advisor? I'm a stock picker, entrepreneur. I don't do passive income. I do active income. I do very active income. I mean, get money, okay? Get money. That's the #1 rule. Get money. Period. The end. I mean, you could buy some dividend stocks that yield you 3%, which is roughly what inflation is going to cost you. Does that sound good? Johnson & Johnson's pretty safe. Pays the dividend. What's a good long-term? Microsoft? If I had to get one tattoo, that's what I would get. No free lunch. NFL. You tat it up like crazy. No free lunch. No arbitrage. Yeah, so HubSpot's really good, man. Got the real data set with the phantom shares, and I got the not so real data set that everyone's supposed to see. I'm not really a sustainability kind of guy. Not all shares are created equal. Some are spooky. HubSpot's along. No doubt about it. Lantheus was a good one yesterday too. Yeah, Pearson has an assessment business that's, I think, pretty resilient. I'm still short, but I think it's fairly resilient. Oh, I like this. The tape is kind of red and ADMA's going up. That's a good sign. Whenever the market's down and you got like a weird long that's up, it's usually like pretty good long. All right, let me see. TNXP. Yeesh, 4 million market cap. Come on, dog. My recommendation is don't. These kinds of tiny stocks, like, stay away from it, man. It's very little good that ever comes out of these super microcaps. Is anybody OG enough yet? But yeah, I do think that'll be part of the your profile will be like, when did you join? Yeah, ADMA's like kind of a slow and steady. So what'd this guy say? Tonix, TNXP. So this is a microcap. I strongly recommend you don't do microcaps. All right, so let's look at this weird, not so great company, Tonix. Apparently was late on their 10Q, never a good sign. 22 million shares outstanding. It's like a 10-cent stock or 20 cents. They bought a drug from 𝗍𝗓. That's crazy. The last 10 Qs is 22 million shares outstanding. Maybe they did a split. Maybe they did do a reverse split. Share repurchase program. Yeah, I think this is the right number of shares. I didn't know they had revenue. That's kind of crazy. Yeah, they had a lot more shares outstanding, and I did think they reverse split. But yeah, they have like 10 million in revenue. I mean, they're spending more than that. But so I guess like, how are they funding the company? The fibromyalgia thing is probably worthless, but how do they have 93 million of property, plant, and equipment? Okay, this got me interested. I hate microcaps. These guys kind of seem like scammers. 71 employees? What? How do these guys finance themselves? 30% warrant coverage. No, 100% warrant coverage. They just do a $5 million offering every quarter. You might need to downsize, guys. And they burn 100 million a year. It's a lot of money to burn. They had $120 million once upon a time. They just basically frittered it away. They bought back $14 million of stock. Come on, dog. So they have maybe a vaccine facility. Is that the main thing they own? RDC and ADC. Most of it is buildings. So they bought 45,000 square foot building in Maryland. So these are real assets. Then they bought this thing for $4 million. Okay, that still doesn't add up to 99 million. They bought another thing they just keep buying property. Like, what's this, a real estate company? Yeah, I mean, it's certainly a bit of a meme company, but they do have a ton of real estate for some reason. Hey, it's worth something, it's worth something. But with all the warrants they have outstanding, if the stock ever went up, the market cap would go up a lot. Okay, the property, plant, and equipment dropped to 43 million from 94 million. I think they disposed of some property, plant, and equipment, but they still don't have any cash. I don't know how they're going to run their company with 4 million. Did they pay the loan? No, loan's still outstanding. They have actually negative net cash. 𝗷𝗡𝗊𝗘𝗍. I'd be freshening up my resume if I worked there. It's not looking so hot. Not so much a good buy, but it's worth something. If you had to, salvage the company, what would it be worth? No, I don't think 𝗕𝗏 A really regulates the activity of integrins. It's not an integral protein, as far as I know. We don't say stocks, by the way, we say shares. And, it's hard to find every winner in the stock market. So if you want to buy shares in every stock that goes up a lot, it's just not that feasible. You have to be realistic. I can't buy every stock that goes up. I don't have a crystal ball to see what stock I would want shares in. This company's shares outstanding just goes up as fast as like compound interest. The only thing compounding here is shares outstanding. 1-for-32 split on 610. 1-for-32 split. So I'm going to change these to pre-split or adjusted. Okay, so this would be 10. This would stay the same. So they've gone from 10 shares outstanding. Oh, this they adjusted, right. Okay, so shares outstanding went from 10 to 18 to 81 to 131 million shares outstanding. Wow, Kaylin, that's, losing 35% of your money is not the end of the world. You'll have tax gains for a while, tax losses for a while. You want to short it and long Bitcoin as a hedge? Is that the play? Yeah, it's probably a good trade. Why would there be a higher market cap than the implied Bitcoin? They don't really have a business, right? So is it basically like there's an implied leverage, like he's going to keep leveraging? So like, it seems like you're taking leverage risk. Like he could be right on Bitcoin in the long run. All he needs to do is get stopped out. I'm not still selling. What do you mean? I just bought some. Yeah, you got to look at the market value and then